Step 8 scares people because they think step 8 means now I have to go face every person I've ever hurt. No, you don't. That's not step 8. Step 8 is about two things: making the list and becoming willing. Hey, everybody. I'm Jenna, and this is Starve the Demon: Recovery by Any Means Necessary. Today, we're continuing my series, Understanding the 12 Steps, and we're talking about Step 8. The 12 steps are not exclusive to one fellowship. You'll find them used in Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, and many other recovery programs. There may be differences in exactly how they're taught or how different fellowships talk about addiction, but the steps themselves follow the same basic path. And this series isn't about telling you that you have to recover through AA or NA or any particular program. We're talking about the spiritual principles behind the 12 steps and how we can actually apply them to our lives. Because I don't care how you get clean. I care that you get clean. Step 8 says, we made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Now look at what that says. It does not say, go make the amends. That's step 9. It doesn't say, call everybody. It doesn't say, send somebody a Facebook message. It doesn't say, knock on your ex's door. Please don't do that. Step 8 says, make a list and become willing. That's it. But don't mistake simple for easy. The spiritual principle I want to concentrate on in step 8 is willingness. Because I may know that I've harmed somebody and still be thinking, but they hurt me too. I might be thinking they deserved it. Or I'll put them on the list, but I am not apologizing to that person. And that's exactly where willingness comes in. Step 8 isn't asking me whether I like them. It's not asking me whether they were innocent. It's asking, am I willing to look honestly at my own behavior? This isn't their inventory. By the time we get to step 8, we've already done some serious looking at ourselves. We've looked at resentments. We've looked at fear. We've looked at relationships. We've looked at our behavior. We've looked at our character defects. And now we're asking, who did my behavior hurt? That's different from asking, who hurt me? Because believe me, I could probably make that list all day. But that's not step 8. Step 8 turns the camera back around on me. And what does harm mean? This is where I think people can make step 8 too narrow. Harm isn't only I stole money from you, I cheated on you, I physically hurt you. Those things absolutely count. But what about the other stuff? Did I lie to you, manipulate you, use you, neglect you, scare you, humiliate you, make promises I had no intention of keeping? Did you have to constantly wonder whether I was alive? Did I disappear? Did I make you responsible for cleaning up my chaos? Did I take money that should have gone to my family? Was I physically present but emotionally unavailable? Did my children have to grow up too fast because I wasn't being the parent? Those are harms too. And step 8 asks us to become honest about them. But here's something really important. This is not an exercise in beating yourself up. We're not making a list to prove that we're terrible human beings. Recovery isn't about spending the rest of your life punishing yourself for who you used to be. What good would that do? The point is, I can't change what I refuse to look at. If I can look honestly at what I've done, then eventually I can begin repairing what can be repaired. And I can stop repeating the same behavior. That's growth. So if I were sitting down to work step 8, here's what I would do. Get a piece of paper and start writing names. Don't worry yet about whether you're going to make an amends. Don't worry about what you're going to say. Don't worry about whether they'll forgive you. Don't worry about whether they owe you an apology. That's not today's job. Today, we're making the list. Write down the person, then ask yourself, how did I harm them? Keep it simple. You don't need a 20-page autobiography under every name. Just get honest. And if you're sitting there thinking, I don't know if this person belongs on my list, then put them on it. You can work that out later with a sponsor, a mentor, a recovery coach, a spiritual advisor, or another person you trust who understands the 12 steps. And then there are those names. You know exactly who I'm talking about. The person whose name you don't even want on your paper because the second you think about them, your brain says, oh, hell no, because they hurt you, maybe badly. And I want to be really clear here. Acknowledging harm that I caused somebody does not erase what they did to me. It does not excuse abuse. It does not mean what happened to me was okay. And it certainly doesn't mean I'm required to put myself back into an unsafe situation. It simply means I am willing to look at my part honestly. Their inventory belongs to them. Mine belongs to me. Here's another thing I love about step 8. It doesn't say you have to feel willing the second you write the name. Sometimes willingness starts much smaller than that. Sometimes all I've got is I'm willing to become willing. That's enough to start. Maybe I pray about it. Maybe I sit with it. Maybe I talk about it. Maybe I ask, why am I holding on to this? What am I afraid will happen if I answer up for this? Because willingness doesn't always arrive like some giant spiritual lightning bolt. Sometimes it grows slowly over time. And don't jump to step 9. This is probably the biggest thing I want you to remember. Do not work step 9 while you're working step 8. Don't sit there looking at every name thinking, how am I going to face them? What am I going to say? What if they tell me to go to hell? What if they want money? What if they don't forgive me? What if they don't want to hear from me? Stop! You're borrowing trouble from the next step. Step 8 is who did I harm? How did I harm them? And am I willing to make it right if and when it's appropriate? That's today's work. Why do we do this? Because we're trying to get free. Addiction leaves wreckage. And just because we stop drinking or stop using doesn't mean the wreckage magically disappears. We have to learn how to live differently, how to have relationships, how to take responsibility, how to admit when we're wrong, how to stop blaming everybody else for everything happening in our lives, and eventually, how to clean up what we can clean up. That's what these steps are teaching us. They're not just teaching us how to stop using, they're teaching us how to live. Your step 8 assignment. So here's what I want you to do. Get some paper, write step 8, and start making your list. Who have I harmed? Beside each name, how did I harm them? And if you come across a name that makes every part of you scream, absolutely not, don't cross it out, circle it. Because that might be exactly where the spiritual principle of willingness needs some work. You don't have to make the amends today. You don't even have to know how you're going to make it. Today, we're just willing to become willing. Step 8 isn't punishment, it's preparation. We're preparing to stop running from our past. We're preparing to take responsibility for our side of the street. And we're preparing to live differently. That's freedom. And that's recovery. You're working step 8 right now. Don't rush it. Be thorough. Be honest. And get some guidance before you start trying to make amends. Because that's step 9. And we're going to talk about that one next time. If this helped you understand step 8, subscribe to Starve the Demon. Share this with somebody who's working the steps. And check out starvethedemon.com. I'm Jenna, your favorite demon starver. And remember, I don't care how you get clean. I care that you get clean. Recovery by any means necessary. Love everybody. Let God sort them out. Keep coming back. I'm going to keep coming back.